I was waiting this entire movie for a Mel Gibson cameo. Where was he? But then I remembered, I was like, yeah, okay, I get it now. Okay, so Mad Max Fury Road. So Mad Max Fury Road is actually a sequel to the previous Mad Max movies with Mel Gibson in them, which he's not in anymore. And it follows the title character Max, played by Tom Hardy, who has a pretty troubled past. He's facing his inner demons, and he has to live in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. He gets captured by the assholes in this movie, and that's where he meets Charlize Theron's character. And Charlize Theron assigns herself a very important task that's sort of like a rescue mission in a way, but it causes Max to get caught up in this whole mix. And from there, they're on the run from these crazy warlords, and there you go, we have our new Mad Max movie. Now, I was really excited for this new Mad Max because George Miller returned as director, and I was like, sweet, that's awesome. Because usually when the guys who made the previous movies come back, it ends up being a pretty good movie. It's kind of like the same thing with Evil Dead, where in this case, they achieved what they wanted to do, which was make a pretty kick-ass action movie, but that doesn't mean I have a lot of shit to say about it. First off, Tom Hardy as Mad Max. He did a good job portraying the character, but he could have been played by anybody, really. It's not like it had to be Tom Hardy. It could have been like some regular Joe actor who's trying to make it in the business, and Mad Max was like his big break. But in the end, we got Tom Hardy, and I was nowhere near upset at his performance. I'm just saying, he could have been played by anybody. He doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue, which I can roll with because it's his actions that gives him the name Mad Max. And Tom Hardy does a good job showing a guy that's just losing it. I thought it was pretty cool. But Charlize Theron's character was the best part of the movie. I thought she was the one who stole the show from Mad Max himself. She was a tough female protagonist who took shit from no one, and seeing her kick all sorts of ass was fun to watch. Which gets me to the conclusion that the action was incredible. It was over the top, edge of your seat popcorn fun. George Miller did a terrific job translating that to screen, making sure that you see the action in all angles. The cinematography gave this feel that this wasteland was dirty, gritty, and all the people living inside this universe are just straight shitbags. He was able to show that through these terrifically shot car chase scenes, and thank goodness, no shaky cams. Have that with a sweet ass soundtrack, I am all in, baby. Yeah, the action scenes were intense and exciting, but the rest of the movie, it's not there. Now, I'm not saying that the story or the characters are a mess, because how can I say that it's a mess if either of those things are there in the first place? Because how the movie starts, it sets you up right from the get-go. There's already car chase scenes, and Charlize Theron, she's doing her thing, which makes for a pretty sweet intro scene, but when it's time to get to know the characters, you know so little about them. Yes, you can argue that there are previous Mad Max movies that develop Max's character, but this movie specifically, it does a poor job on doing that. In the movie, he sees visions of this kid, so you're like, okay, is it like demons that are haunting him or something in the past? They never really explain that. They just kind of leave you hanging. Or better yet, why and how Charlize Theron decides to take these attractive looking models instead of taking people that are actually starving and thirsty. Watch the movie. There are people in there that are dying and they need help. Even the atmosphere of this apocalyptic wasteland, you have no clue on how it became that way. They just kind of throw you in the setting and it's like, oh, post-apocalyptic setting and shit. I sort of blame myself because I openly admit I haven't seen any of the previous Mad Max movies beforehand, so that right there, that's my fault. But still, even then, they talk about something called the Water Wars, and they take zero time to explain that. They just expect you to know what's going on. You're just going along for the ride. It doesn't really dive into any of the characters either, like Charlize Theron. You don't know her as a person. All you know is that she's pissed at the villain. She takes something of his possession. And that was another thing, was the villain in this movie. I straight up did not like because he was a poor villain. Yes, he has his motivation of going after Charlize Theron because she takes his attractive supermodel slaves. I would go after her too. I mean, shit, give me my slaves back. But he doesn't really do anything drastic where it's like, holy shit, that's a great villain, oh my god. No, it's not there. At least when someone fails Darth Vader, he force chokes someone and lets everybody know. It's like, hey, if you fuck my shit up, you're getting your ass killed right here, right now. No, not this villain. He was pretty forgettable. But in the end, Mad Max Fury Road had alright acting, but the action was great. George Miller gave us this balls to the wall action that's really worth seeing on the big screen. But if you're looking for everything else like story and characters, you're not gonna like it. Go in this movie just looking for a fun popcorn movie. I promise you will love the action. Mad Max is just kind of there. It's more like the Charlize Theron show. Instead of Mad Max, it should have been called Mad Charlize Theron. That would have been a fitting title. So I say that Mad Max Fury Road is definitely worth seeing at the matinee price. Have you guys seen Mad Max Fury Road? What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below. And as always, there's a link for my Twitter and my Facebook in the description as well. Keep in contact with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But in the meantime, I have to get going.